Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, first anthrax outbreak confirmed in Niger State. Senator Abubakar Kyari and Festus Fauna emerge acting APC National Chairman Secretary. Inflation rises to 22.79% in June as price of maize in Katsina hits 43,000 naira per bag. And on the foreign scene, 5-story apartment building collapses in Cairo, killing at least 9 people. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour tonight. I am Eugenia Abu. The federal government has confirmed the first anthrax disease case detected in a farm in the Sileja area of Niger State. This was disclosed by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. In a statement signed by the Chief Veterinary Officer of Nigeria, Dr. Kolumba T. Vakuru, on Monday. Some weeks ago, the federal government had cautioned Nigerians about the consumption of hides, popularly known as guamo, over the spread of anthrax disease as recorded in neighboring countries. The federal government had specifically stated that the disease was widespread in northern Ghana, bordering Burkina Faso and Togo, as it also promised to keep Nigerians updated on developments about the disease. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture called on Nigerians to maintain good hygiene practices on the farm through regular cleaning and disinfection of animal housing, feeding equipment, and water troughs. We're now joined via Zoom by Director, Center for Infectious Disease Research Center, Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, Bayero University, Professor Isa Abubakar, to discuss the outbreak of the anthrax disease. Professor, are you there? Good evening.
Yes,
Prof.
I'm here. It's good to have me.
Thank you for joining us. Would like to find out from you what this outbreak means for the country, and are we capable of containing it?
It's a very large population. We all know that Nigeria has the largest population in the Black world. That is largely ignorant, and in many instances, even if health workers and those working in the information sector have given some pieces of advices, it is not easy for us to convince the teeming populace that we have. And of course, this is why everybody that knows how dangerous this disease is will have a lot of concern.
Thank you, Prof. What should people dealing with animals do as proactive measures against the spread of the disease? And what would you recommend as a kind of immunization against anthrax?
Yes, luckily for us, at least it is a disease that has some immunization. Since it is largely an animal-related disease, it is advisable that people who own livestock should avail themselves with the opportunity for their animals to get immunized. And then, of course, general public health measures will also help. Ensuring sanitation within the farms will do a lot of good for the prevention. And then people have to observe serious personal hygiene so that they can also protect themselves. And then in a situation where people are not having anything to do with animals, they should avoid close contact with animals. And any animal that is suspected to be having this disease should be isolated from the others and as much as possible, people should not come into contact with them, except if they are veterinarians or public health workers who are well enlightened on ways that they can.
Thank you very much, Prof. Avoid personal contact with animals if you have no business, and also ensure sanitation on the farms. We've been talking to Director Center for Infectious Disease Research Center, Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, Bayero University, Professor Abubakar. And away from the health issue of anthrax, we go now to some politics. National Vice Chairman North, Abubakar Kyari, and Deputy National Secretary Festus Fonta have on Monday emerged as acting National Chairman and acting National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress APC following voluntary resignations of the party's National Chairman, Abdullahi Adamu. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that the party's National Working Committee, which made the announcement during an emergency meeting at the party's secretariat, however, failed to provide details of the reasons behind the resignations.
On Sunday evening, the party's national chairman Abdullahi Adamu and national secretary Yola Omishore threw in the towel ahead of scheduled National Executive Committee and caucus meetings. The development is not unconnected with the mounting opposition from within and outside the All Progressives Congress APC, apparently due to their roles before the elections and other internal party schemings. An emergency National Working Committee meeting was summoned to handle the development. The National Deputy Chairman North of the party, Senator Abubakar Kyari, who incidentally chaired the meeting, was okayed to step in as acting National Chairman, while the Deputy National Secretary, Barrister Festus Fonta, takes charge of the Office of the National Secretary, also in acting capacity.
With these recent developments in the change of leadership, I'd like to inform everybody here that the proposed National Caucus meeting slated for Tuesday, the 18th, July 2023, and the National Executive Committee meeting of the All Progressive Congress slated for Wednesday, 19th July 2023, has hereby been postponed. And this postponement will not be indefinite, but it will be a new date will be communicated in the near future.
Though there were indications the party may go after the two principal leaders due to mounting allegations of financial misappropriation and other infractions, the acting national chairman did not provide insights into such claims.
There are no allegations at this point. The two individuals have resigned voluntarily, and that is what is available at this moment.
The immediate past national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Adamu, has been battling a cold war with the newly elected president for supporting the aspiration of former Senate President Ahmed Lawan during the APC's presidential primary. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Senator Abdullahi Adamu stepped down as national chairman of the All Progressives Congress early on Monday after what is being perceived as a palace coup within the ranks of the ruling party. The former senator and two-time governor is largely regarded as a dogged politician and keen strategist. However, his run as the national chairman of the ruling party ran out on Monday due to some political choices he made in the run-up to the 2023 elections. Here is more about the former national chairman.
Abdullahi Adamu was born at Kefi, Nasarawa State, on 23 July 1946. He attended the government secondary school, Makurdi, between 1960 and 1962, the government technical college, Bukuru, from 1962 to 1965, and Kaduna Polytechnic between 1965 and 1968. Adamu returned to Kaduna Polytechnic for a higher national diploma in June 1971 and pressed ahead to obtain LLB honors in law in 1992 from the University of Jos, after which he was awarded a BL from the Nigeria Law School, Lagos, and was called to bar as a solicitor and advocate of Supreme Court of Nigeria in December 1993. Adamu entered politics in 1977 and was elected to the Constituent Assembly, which drafted the Constitution for Nigeria's short-lived Second Republic, 1979 to 1983. He was a pioneer member of the National Party of Nigeria, NPN, the first Secretary General of the NPN in Plateau State from December 1978 and chairman of the NPN in Plateau from 1982 to 1983. In 1994, he was appointed to the National Constitutional Conference by General Sani Abacha's administration and was appointed the Minister of State of the Works and Housing Ministry, holding this position until November 1997. When the ban on politics activity was lifted in 1997, he joined the United Nigerian Congress Party, UNCP, and 1998 became a founding member of People's Democratic Party, PDP. During the 1999 Nasarawa State gubernatorial election, Abdullahi Adamu ran successfully for a position of governor on the PDP platform. He was re-elected during the 2003 Nasarawa State gubernatorial election. After the end of his 2 terms as governor, Adamu became Secretary, Board of Trustees, BOT, of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Adamu was a PDP candidate for the Nasarawa West senatorial seat in April 2011 elections and was elected. In March 2022, Abdullahi Adamu was appointed national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, and guided the party to a resounding, albeit controversial, victory at the 2023 general elections. The pressure on him to quit as the national chairman of the ruling party had intensified over the past few days, primarily because of claims that he did not support President Bola Tinubu during the APC's presidential primary in June 2022. The push also hinged largely on perceptions that the former party chairman did not support President Tinubu during the presidential election, although he attended campaign rallies in what party insiders said was a face-saving measure.
A historiography of the former APC national chairman. We now have in the studio Fidelis McClever, acting group politics editor of Daily Trust, to give us an insight into the intrigues. Editor, talk us through the background of this resignation of the former national chairman and former secretary of the All Progressives Congress. Is it that the crisis within the party consumed them, or is there a story that we were not hearing about?
I think a combination of both. The crisis within the party played a major role, and then, of course, there are also powerful forces within the polity that worked towards having the national chairman to resign. As we all know, we know the circumstances in which Abdullahi Adamu emerged as the chairman. He was the preferred candidate of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. And so when he came in, he faced a lot of crises, which he was not able to manage them properly. And then during the build-up to the presidential election, we knew how he worked against the preferred, candidate or choice of the party. He had his support for somebody else. So by the end of the day, eventually, and I'm talking about the former Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, whom he openly supported, to have, emerged as the candidate of the party, but it didn't work out that way. So by the end of the day, the current president, President Bola Tinubu, picked the ticket, and then he eventually won. So, given that kind of scenario, definitely there is this feeling within the hierarchy of the party that he is not working in the interest of the current president and also of the party. And so we saw how even within his party hierarchy, the deputy national chairman Northwest, Salihu Lukman, had been opposed to his ways of doing things. He had written several petitions and then came up with allegations of corruption and the rest of them, and against Adamu. And in the state too, we saw also that in the aftermath of the 2023 general elections, most of the state chapters of the party were engrossed in crisis, one crisis of the other, that saw the expulsion of most members, the suspension of several members, and then state chapters of the party were embroiled in crisis, and Adamu did little to be able to manage this crisis properly.
Let me take you back to the point that you made earlier about whether this is because the former national chairman worked against the president. You did make a sentence or two about that. Would you like to expand that just a little bit?
Yes, like I said, not working against the former president.
No, the current president.
Yeah, the current president, that's true. We knew what happened when the presidential primaries took place. Abdullah Adamu came up, publicly to say that the party was endorsing the candidature of Ahmed Lawa, who was the Senate president at the time, against the choice of the majority members of the party, especially the governors from the northern part of the country, who had wanted or had thought that power should shift to the southern part of the country. So that was an open affront, so to speak. And then by the end of the day, his own choice couldn't make it. Bola Ahmed Tinubu picked the ticket, and then eventually he went campaigning, and then he got elected as the president of the country.
Now, talk to us about the emerging pattern which we're seeing now. After every new election, a president is sworn in, and then the national chairman seems endangered. Why is this so?
It is actually a pattern that has been there since the return to democracy in this country. Hardly would you have any national chairman, not even just the ruling party, always the party that is in power. You see that after the general elections, the national chairman hardly lasts for a year or two before they are edged out of the office. Of course, this is as a result of power play, and then emerging interest within the polity. Of course, anybody that comes in would like to assert and have somebody at the saddle of the ruling political party that can key into their policies and stuff like that. So it's one pattern that has been with us over time, and then that is why many people did not see the case of Abdullah Adamu as a surprise.
Right. Let's talk about the current acting chairman who is now in place. What would portend for the party, and how will they come up with a substantive chair?
Okay, now for the acting national chair, now by the constitution of the party, he is supposed to be in saddle for a period of 3 months, within which he is expected to organize a mini convention that will now produce the substantive or the new national chairman. So they just had a National Working Committee meeting today in Abuja, where they suspended the next meeting that was proposed for tomorrow and thereafter. And what they are saying is that, of course, having taken over, he would need time now to be able to galvanize his team together to work towards having that mini national convention that would produce the next chairman.
We want to thank you so very much. We've been talking to Mr. Fidelis McClever, acting group politics editor of Daily Trust, who has given us an insight into the intrigues in the resignation of the former national chairman of the APC. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has sworn in the State Immediate Past Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, and Professor Bello Ayuba as Administrator, Kaduna Capital Territory Authority, and Principal Private Secretary to the Governor. The Governor said the two appointees will play a major role in the formulation and execution of his administration's policies. Bello Musa now reports.
I, Samuel Awan, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as Commissioner and Administrator of Kaduna Capital Territory Authority of Kaduna State of Nigeria, I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability.
I, once again, Professor Bella Ayuba, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as your principal private secretary, I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability.
After the off-taking ritual, Governor Obasani said he is confident that the experience of the two appointees will help the administration to deliver on his campaign promise.
We are confident that the experience they bring on board will be beneficial in the delivery of our promises to the good people of the state. As you have taken your oath of office today, I urge you to see your appointments as calls to service. You occupy important and sensitive offices. You must therefore brace up to the challenges that lie ahead and discharge your duties with the highest sense of integrity and humility. You must at all times serve the public interest. You must put service before self, as it is an absolute honor to be called to serve one's state.
The governor also emphasized that the 7-point agenda of the administration will be successful only if people key into the programs of government in the state.
Our administration's 7-point agenda is geared toward improving the quality of life of citizens of Kaduna State. This therefore reflects our commitment toward achieving inclusive socio-economic transformation, while consolidating on our urban renewal drive. We shall prioritize the revitalization of economies of our rural areas through massive infrastructural development. For us to actualize our vision, the people must take ownership of the process.
The newly appointed Administrator, Kaduna Capital Territory Samuel Awan, and the newly Principal Private Secretary, the Governor, Professor Bello Ayuba, promised to discharge their duties diligently.
Well, I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I will do all that is within my reach to justify the trust repose in me.
My appointment as the Principal Private Secretary is really an important appointment in this administration. Why? Because I am to serve as the head and the accounting officer of His Excellency and the Government House General, including Deputy Governor. So I want to seize this opportunity for me to actually His Excellency will discharge my responsibility effectively and efficiently.
Governor Obasani also directed Awan to oversee the Ministry for Internal Security and Home Affairs pending the appointment of Commissioner in days to come. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Muslims in Osun State have been advised to remain calm as controversy trails the fate of Governor Ademola Adeleke's commissioner nominees. The president of Osun State Muslim community, Mustafa Olawi, cautioned against heating up the polity on religious grounds. Hamidu Yegbadi files this report.
Governor Adeleke recently submitted the names of his commissioner nominees to the Osun State House of Assembly for screening and confirmation. The list generated controversy based on the analysis of the religion of each of the nominees. But at a press conference in Osogbo to herald events marking the new Hijra Islamic year 1445, the president of Osun State Muslim community, Mustafa Olawi, said no cause for alarm on Adeleke's appointment.
The first appointment made by the Governor Nuruddin Adeleke, was that of the SSB, the Secretary of the State Government, which is a top government position in this state. He's a Muslim, not just ordinary, he's a committed Muslim brother. Those who know him knows that. Number two, he went further to appoint another Muslim as the Chief of Staff.
Speaking on the significance of Hijrah celebration, Muslim leaders advised Muslims to be more familiar with lunar calendar to enable them partake in important Islamic events and activities.
The essence of Hijrah is to ensure that there is peace in the nation, there is peace in the state, there is peace within the community. Then there will be development.
When Muhammad was alive, it has been mentioned that it's better to start counting our days from the day Hijrah was made. And when he died, after him, they started calculating from the day Hijrah started.
As the 12th and last month on the Islamic calendar, Dhul Hijjah winds down, adherents of Islam look forward to the new Hijrah year 1445. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
The Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Yemi Adaramodu, has justified the rationale behind the appropriation of 70 billion naira for expenditure of members of the 10th Assembly. Speaking on Trust TV's flagship program Daybreak, he, along with other members of the Parliament, said Nigerians need to understand the workings of the National Assembly to be able to understand its budget. Also speaking on the program, the minority spokesman of the House of Representatives, Dachung Bagos, urged members of the public to understand the workings of the National Assembly. The position of the Assembly was, however, countered by the policy analyst Baba Yusuf. According to him, the allocation to the National Assembly members is ill-timed, considering the current difficult situation Nigerians are facing.
If I'm in the office as a legislator, there is no way within that 1 year, unless I report to the bureaucracy that my fridge is not working or my television set is not working. Some of them will go and improvise by buying their own. And when they are leaving, you cannot stop them from taking their television sets, which they have bought with their own money, away. And so the new legislator will not be any television set in that office. I've already said it. When you look at the offices presently, there are several of the offices without chairs and tables. Many National Assembly members are bringing in their own facilities. Will it continue like that? Then the 70 billion naira is not for National Assembly members as salaries or allowances. They are to be they are for the procurement of all these facilities and all these tools, both for National Assembly legislators and the staff, both auxiliary and auxiliary.
There are people that are in charge of the National Assembly, in the runnings of the National Assembly. I am a representative. I can give you account of what I have been able to do to my people in the past 4 years and counting. But when it comes to spending and when it comes to how my office is being painted or allocated or the chairs in my office, definitely I cannot give you answers to that.
We have budgetary provisions that covers capital expenditure and recurrent expenditure year on year, which was passed by the 9th Assembly. Okay? This has been passed, and it presupposes that the provisions of that budget covers for this routine maintenance and provisions for the new entrance into the Parliament, i.e. the 10th Assembly. There is a bit of concern with regards to the communication. Maybe there's need for some clarity with regards to how the parliamentarians communicate to Nigerians at a very sensitive time in Nigeria.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, poverty, a contributing factor to child malnutrition. Stay.
That's right. You too could be one of the 20 Zenith Bank customers that will win 150,000 Naira every 2 weeks from June 1st, 2023 until May 31st, 2024 in the Zenith Better Life Promo 3. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Live the better life with Zenith Bank.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
If you are just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Here is a recap of our top stories. First anthrax outbreak confirmed in Niger State. And Senator Abubakar Kyari and Festus Fauna emerge acting APC National Chairman and Secretary. Moving now to other stories. About 60 human rights lawyers on Monday at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, commenced a contempt proceeding against the Director General of the State Security Service, Yusuf Bichi, over alleged disobedience of court orders directing the release of the suspended Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele from custody of the agency. The contempt charge is seeking to commit the DSS chief to prison in line with provisions of the law on violation of lawful court order. The lawyers, led by Maxwell Okpara and Abdul Aziz Tijani, prayed the court to commit the DSS DG to prison until he purges himself of the contempt.
The director of DSS says, we want to say enough is enough. We have come to file from 48 against him. We have commenced contempt proceedings against him for disobeying court orders. Nigeria is not a Benin Republic. We have had several directors of DSSS. He is not the first one, and this is not going to be the last one. So we have filed it, and we are asking that now that it's obvious that he has a personal issue to settle with Emefiele, he should go and sort it out. He should not use Nigeria. He should not use any sign, any purported offense of terrorism to sort whatever problem he had with Emefiele.
We join forces together with the world to call on the president to make sure that the DSF director is removed as soon as possible. In fact, tomorrow is too late. It is very, very important. That is the point that we are laboring to make.
Delta State Governor Sheriff Oberevori on Monday paid a visit to the family of 2-year-old Ivan Omaria Kogbe, killed by stray bullets from operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLA, at Okpanam area of the state capital on Thursday, 13th of July. Oberevori visited the family at the Federal Medical Center, Asaba, where the younger sibling, Eromosele, a 1-year-old, is receiving treatment for bullet injuries sustained in his left eye. He commiserated with the family on the demise of Ivan and promised that all efforts will be made to bring the culprits to book.
All the treatment and all that, the state government will bear the cost, everything. So no money is taken from the family. So please, state government, take off the food bills. Thank you. So nothing to worry about.
Just come and I can assure you, with the help and what we have heard from His Excellency, we will do our best to ensure we are up with the mystery behind the whole thing.
Thank you, sir.
We have sent messages to the NDLA, and they have responded. In no long distance, we'll be able to come out with reports that will be made known to the members of the public.
troops of the 192 Battalion Nigerian Army operating within the 81 Division area of responsibility have successfully busted an international ammunition smuggling syndicate. The details of the operation from the Army was contained in a statement on Monday by Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, the Director, Army Public Relations. Acting on intelligence, the troops conducted a stop and search operation along the Ajilete Owode Road in Yewa North local government area of Ogun State on Saturday, July 15th. General Nwachukwu said during the operation, the troops discovered a truck which was transporting a large quantity of smuggled ammunition destined for Anambra State. The illegal cargo included 720 packets of Red Star cartridges of 12 caliber, each containing 25 cartridges, totaling 18,000 cartridges. Additionally, they found 250 packets of live black cartridges containing 10 packets each, amounting to 2,500 cartridges of the same caliber. The troops arrested the suspects involved in the smuggling attempt. The individuals were identified as Eric Sewobo, a Ghanaian national, and the truck's driver, Lukman Sani. Both suspects are currently in custody, cooperating with investigations. The rising obsession with modifying natural physical features, predominantly among females, has led to a significant boost in the cosmetic surgery industry in recent times. Although there are regulations to guide the practice, there are concerns about safety before and after these surgical procedures to reduce the risk of complications. Here's Aisha Salihu with that report.
Into a surge in seeking wider hips, bigger bottoms, contoured breasts, among others. Research has shown that people feel more confident after engaging in such procedures.
Major peer influencers have undergone some form of body adjustment procedures. It kind of encourages that, and it kind of reassures people that it is fairly safe because this person has done it and this person looks better.
You know, people are coming from different backgrounds, so and many women want to fit into the society. So it's about how you were brought up.
They feel less about their body, so to impress their husband and their other female friends, they want to do it. Let me say, I don't know. So if you feel comfortable, that was.
Experts, however, believe there is need to strengthen capacity of regulatory authorities to enforce safety standards. This is because even though surgeries have become safer due to advancement in technology, procedures are still not risk-free and devoid of complications.
Regulation will involve money, will involve officers, will involve logistics to deploy, and will involve external quality assurance to set standards and make sure that the standards are met. In situations where you are doing implants, certain implants have been outlawed recently because of their risk of leakage and the toxicity of what this leakage would portend to the person involved. You have complications that may happen with things like liposuction, and in very inexperienced hands, more likely than more experienced hands. So the better trained the person, the more experienced the person, the more procedures the person would have done, the lower the risk.
They just want to do, and many of them are doing it and dying, and people are still doing it.
No, it's not a safe procedure. Even though the best doctors or the best operators for this, they are able to say they're scarce in Nigeria here. So people that want to get money will now use that opportunity to get money and still harm people that are ignorant of disadvantages of it.
Against the rising wave of complications during or after body enhancement procedures, there have been appeals to women to be less eager to go under the knife. In fact, they are being urged to boost their confidence by loving their bodies irrespective of societal pressure. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Farmers in the southern part of Plateau State are lamenting shortage of rain in their communities, saying the situation is making them lose hope for this year's farming season. Ado Musa reports that rain has not fallen in the area for weeks, prompting the farmers to pray for God's blessings with rain to support farming activities. Here's Ado Musa with that story.
Various food crops in the southern part of the state
are getting dry owing to the absence of rainfall. Some of the farmers in Yelwa community of Shandong local government area of the state say different crops planted have turned yellowish because of low rainfall in recent times. The farmers say if the situation continues, many of them will lose their capital, adding that there will be shortage of food in the area. Honestly, we have been experiencing shortage of rain in this area. Crops are drying. If the situation continues like this, in a moment, we will lose our crops completely because some already are dead, especially yam. We are praying for the rain because without it, there will be problem. We haven't seen rain for almost a month now. If this rain doesn't come, there will be hunger. We are in the hands of God. The absence of rain has not been good for us. Crops are drying. Food has become very expensive. If we are having rain, food crops wouldn't have been expensive because other crops would have grown. While crying for the shortage of the rain, the farmers, however, pray for the Allah's intervention. We are in dire need of rain because our crops are dying. Yam, maize, groundnut are not looking good at all. We are praying to Allah to assist us with rain to water our crops. We are praying to Allah to assist us with rain because things will go well if it is raining. People from far and near should help us with prayers. It hasn't been easy for us around this area. We have invested our money in the farm and there is no rain. We are really suffering. We want to apply pesticide, but there is no rain. We are begging Allah to help us with the rain to enable us get food at the end of the day. Last year, farmers in the area counted huge losses, especially rice farmers, as the output was too low due to the lack of rain during the farming season. The farmers, however, pray that they will not witness the past experience this year. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Poverty has been identified as one of the major causes of malnutrition among many children in Nigeria, especially in the northeastern part of the country. This was disclosed by health workers in Gombe State during a visit to a health facility by a group of journalists drawn from 4 states of the region and FCT, Abuja. Adamu Imam has more.
According to United Nations Children's Education Fund, UNICEF, the first 1,000 days of a child are crucial for physical development and brain growth. Nutrition during pregnancy, breastfeeding period as well. Babies' nurturing care in the first 2 years are extremely important. At the health facility center Kumbia, members of the media drawn from Adamawa, Bauchi, Gombe, Taraba and Abuja observed some activities towards improving life of a baby and nursing mothers, while health workers explain further.
First, if she comes in the labor room, take her BP first, PCD, to know whether her blood is okay for her to deliver successfully. We take her BP without any high BP or low BP, then we admit her for the delivery.
We immunize newborn babies, that's BCG, at least 105. And for Penta 1, we immunize 1 less as in 133.
Dr. Tusharin, UNICEF Bauchi Field Office, while talking to journalists at the media engagement, says first 1,000 days is a time spanning between conception and second birthday of a child, noting that maternal health and child nutrition can determine the child's ability to grow, and poor nutrition will cause irreversible damage for growing brain.
I think it's work in progress, but definitely, as I said, if we even lose one child, it's something that...
Adding that intervention from 0 to 6 months of a child's life include exclusive breastfeeding, immunization, infection prevention, and nurturing care of a baby. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Gombe.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after the break. Don't go away. The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics has said that the headline inflation rate rose to 22.79% in June when compared to the 22.41% recorded in May. The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, in its monthly Consumer Price Index report released on Monday, said the increase was 0.38 percentage points. It said on year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 4.19 percentage points higher compared to the rate recorded in June 2022, which was 18.60%. It stated that the increase was caused by increases in prices of oil and fat, bread and cereals, fish, potatoes, yam and other tubers, fruits, meat, vegetable, milk, cheese and eggs. Others include passenger transportation fares hike, as well as vehicles parts, liquid fuel, fuels and lubricants for personal transport equipment, medical services, passenger transport by road, among others. It added that food inflation rate in June 2023 was 25.25% on a year-on-year basis, which was a 4.65 percentage points higher relative to the rate recorded in June 2022, 20.60%, while on a month-on-month basis, the food inflation rate in June 2023 was 2.40%, which was 0.21 percentage points higher compared to the rate recorded in May 2023 at 2.19%. President Bola Tinubu has returned to Abuja from Kenya after successfully participating in the 5th mid-year coordination meeting of the African Union. Tinubu, upon arrival at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, was received by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, Imo State Governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, and former Kano State Governor, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. Tinubu, on Monday, departed from Nairobi, where he met with other leaders on the continent last weekend. President Tinubu was at the AU meeting on Sunday in his capacity as the chairman of the Authority of the Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Among issues discussed at the AU meeting in Nairobi were deliberations and conclusions reaffirming Africa's unity and strength and rejection of a new scramble for Africa. Tinubu also committed to strengthening the ECOWAS standby force to deter coups and terrorism in the sub-region. The president reaffirmed Africa's unity and strength while strongly rejecting the notion for a new scramble for the continent. On the foreign scene, a 5-story apartment building has collapsed in the Egyptian capital of Cairo, leaving at least 9 people dead, authorities have said, as rescuers at the scene searched through the rubble. The state-run MENA news agency reported that rescue teams recovered at least 9 bodies from under the rubble of the building on Monday in Cairo's neighborhood of Hadaiq El Kuba, roughly 3.2 kilometers from the city's center. 4 survivors were also taken to hospital, and authorities evacuated a neighboring apartment building, MENA said. Egypt's Ministry of Social Solidarity said it would give 60,000 Egyptian pounds, roughly $1,939 to the families of the 9 victims killed in the incident. The ministry also said it would deliver aid to the injured and was monitoring the damage to nearby properties. Police forces cordoned off the area as rescue teams combed through the rubble in search of possible survivors, according to local reports. It was not immediately clear what caused the building to collapse. Dozens of migrants were left in the desert by Tunisian authorities without water and food, and their numbers are rising, an officer has said. Hundreds of migrants from sub-Saharan African countries were forcibly taken to the desert and hostile areas bordering Libya and Algeria after racial unrest in early July in Sfax, Tunisia's second largest city. Take a look.
Following clashes that claimed the life of a Tunisian on July 3rd, hundreds of African migrants were driven out of Sfax, Tunisia's second largest city and the main departure point for illegal immigration to Europe. Migrants who were visibly exhausted and dehydrated could be seen over the weekend lying on the sand and using shrubs to try and shield themselves from the scorching summer heat that topped 40 degrees. The group were in an uninhabited area close to Al Assa, a town near the Tunisia-Libya border, nearly 150 kilometers west of Tripoli. A group of women and children, including toddlers, were being cared for in a reception center. An Ivorian migrant, Abu Koni, who arrived in Tunisia 7 years ago, said he was apprehended on the streets last week and put on a truck alongside his wife. The Tunisian police caught me with my wife and asked for the papers. We showed the papers, they picked us up and put us in a truck. I asked, "Where are you taking us to?" They said they want to throw us into Libya. But what did we do to be sent to Libya? They said, "We don't need you in here in Tunisia." When we got to the border, they made us sit down. We were hit. I was beaten. I had surgery. They hit me there. They hit me here. They hit me everywhere. In the back, they hit me all over my body. They say they want to kill me because I am black. When they finished, they put us in the desert. They shot at us. "Go to Libya, go to Libya. We will kill you." That's when we met with the Libyan police. They gave us water. They put us in the car to send us here. And from that day, the Libyan police started to take care of us. Lieutenant Muhammad Abu Sena, a member of the brigade that carries out the border patrol, says the number of migrants is increasing by the day. We faced difficulties with the increasing number of immigrants arriving on a daily basis. Different numbers of around 70 to 50 are rescued, and the numbers vary. Of course, we provide them with healthcare and some relief assistance, and of course, first aid, given that some migrants cross the desert from Tunisia to Libya. According to Tunisia's NGOs, 100 to 150 people were still abandoned to their fate on Friday in desert areas on the border between Libya and Tunisia. Libya is home to at least 600,000 sub-Saharan migrants and has been repeatedly accused by NGOs and international organizations of mistreating them.
And now to sports. Over the past few years, use of local languages in sports commentary has gained significant momentum, captivating audiences across the country. Trust TV's Abdul Aziz Ibrahim takes a look at how new opportunities are created for local broadcasters and a sense of cultural inclusivity provided for fans across the country.
Nigerians have always been passionate about sports, particularly football. The fans say they feel a deeper connection with the game when they can understand and relate to the commentary in their own language.
There's a particular idiom the Hausa commentator use that brings out the vibe in the match, because these days we find some people in the viewing center, like me also. The commentaries we broadcast on the radio station, I kind of like to listen to that particular comment.
Local language sports commentary has not only expanded the fan base, but has also boosted the popularity of regional broadcasters.
I realized that when you listen to a lot of commentators, like in football, the John Champion of this world, Derek Ray, Jim Beglin, you find out that they are very comfortable with the language, and that plays a huge role to give them that finesse, to give them that freedom to use words, to play around words. So because of that, I decided to go into commentary in my native language to, harness the potentials that lies there and being good.
Many sports analysts and experts believe that the rise of local language sports commentary can also contribute to the development of indigenous languages.
So some words that we are using, like when it comes to free kick, corner, offside, challenging decision of the referee, other technical issues for the officiating of the game, most of the people that are watching the match inside the stadium, they don't understand or they don't know that technical words. But when we use our local language, when we use our local commentary, people will learn more.
We always say, "Kokeke gacharami, kebe butiano." That's like, it's more like an idiom. Like, since Okeke went to the army and returned, where is his boot? We can't find it. That's like when you put in effort or try to, like when you maybe just have like a beautiful nonsense kind of situation. That's where it comes in.
Proliferation of sports commentary in local languages is certainly a positive development due to the diverse linguistic landscape of Nigeria. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News.
The rise of local language sports commentaries. President Bola Tinubu has sent his sympathy and condolences to the chairman of Max Air, Dahiru Barau Mangal, over the passing of his wife, Aisha Dahiru Mangal, who died at the weekend. In a statement signed by Special Advisor on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Aleke, the president also commiserated with the chairman, Council of Imams in the Federal Capital Territory and Chief Imam of Fuad Lababidi Central Mosque, Wuse Zone 3, Abuja, Tajuddin Adigun, over the death of his mother, Aishatu Muhammad Adigun. Late Aishatu Adigun died on Wednesday and was buried the following day at Offa, Kwara State. President Tinubu said in his condolence message to Mangal that he is deeply saddened by the news of the death of Aisha Mangal, praying that God Almighty forgives the shortcomings of the deceased. President Tinubu was represented on Sunday by Vice President Kashim Shettima in a condolence visit to the Mangal home in Katsina. In his message to Imam Adigun, the president consoled the Muslim leader, urging him to take solace in the good name and excellent record of service left behind by his late mother. And with that, we have come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV tonight. Do not forget to follow us on all our media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentaries. On behalf of the team, I am Eugenia Abu. We thank you for your time.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.